Welcome to the Cosmic Mystic Podcast, the space for healers, coaches, and conscious leaders on a mission to elevate collective consciousness. I'm your host, Danie a former Catholic disciple turned eclectic witch, guiding you through the realms of astrology, spirituality, and the quest to escape the matrix. It's time to unleash the mystic within. Let the transformation begin. Hey, my friend. Welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic Podcast. Danie here. And I want to start today with something that I have been thinking about a lot. Something I keep watching happen in my own life, in my clients' lives, in women I deeply respect who are doing some serious work on themselves. It goes something like this. She knows herself, like really knows herself. She's doing the work. She has language, like she knows her patterns. She knows her triggers. She's probably done therapy, coaching, some of the inner work, and in many cases, years of it. And yet she is still being affected by the thing that she knows better than anyone. First, this doesn't mean that she is broken or she's not trying hard enough or that doing the inner work doesn't work. What it actually is giving us this perspective of a specific gap. One that I really don't see people talking about too much in the personal development space, in the spiritual healing space. There's two sides of this, and I want to close the gap and give you all of the information, my friend, because this might be one of the most important distinctions that I can offer you. And that is the difference between self-awareness and healing, and why having one doesn't automatically give you the other. All right, so let me say this. Self-awareness is not nothing before I dive in, because I might say some things and you'd be like, but no, let me just say it. It is the level one. I've said this before. Self-awareness, like doing your inner work, is number one, like doing that work. Becoming aware of your patterns, becoming aware, like tracing it back, right? Finding the root, like this is level one, my friend. And it's one of the most important things that you can begin doing, that you can actually do. Like most of the world does not do this work, right? The fact that you can turn inward and be honest with yourself, look at a pattern, even while it might be happening, to be able to like hold your own behavior with curiosity, with love, right? Instead of shame. My friend, most people never develop that skill. Most people never do that work. So if you are someone who has done this, which I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have done that. If you're somebody who has sat in that discomfort of actually seeing yourself, of being honest with yourself, somebody who has invested real time and real money in understanding you, my friend, this is like extraordinary. Like this is like, wow. Like I'm so proud of you, because it is not easy. And anything that I say today, please understand that I am coming from this with love. And I just want to make sure you have the full picture, because I want to be honest with you. I feel like honesty is the best thing that you can do. Clear is kind. Brene Brown, thank you very much. I know this for myself, and I know this with my clients. At some point, self-awareness can be very sophisticated at keeping you exactly where you are. Not because it's an excuse, because that's like that, right? Not because it's an excuse, not because you're consciously choosing that, right? But because awareness can become like, you could be so fluent in this awareness, right? You can say it so clearly. And thanks to social media these days, you have like the psychological data behind it, right? That it starts to feel like this is actually the thing. Like, I know why I do this. I know where it started. I know what it's costing me. And the knowing of the thing, it feels like you're making progress. It feels like, huh, yeah, I know it. I know what this is. This goes back to when I was 13 years old and this situation happened. And this, like, you can like recite that and it shows up in this area and this area and this area. And yet, you're still leading from that place. Your behavior hasn't changed. I know, my friend, how hard you've worked. And I also know that that's not healing. And when you can understand the distinction, like I did, changed everything. So I want to tell you, go back to this idea, and this has come up actually recently for me. So I'm going to use this one as an example. I have a new, beautiful, amazing coach, and I was telling her we were working on my revenue plan. And, you know, she was talking about like referrals, right? Referrals has been my number one source of gaining clients over the years. And so she's like, we're going to double down on that, right? And I'm like, okay. And I'm not good at relationships, right? I'm not a good friend. I have said that, I don't know how many times to people. This is my pattern, right? And I know that this stems from 13-year-old Danie, who was teased on the school bus by some girls, right? Popular girls. And I can tell you exactly, right? I can also tell you how it's connected to the time that a group of my friends in 8th grade, so that same year, like I got hit that year, that same year, I can trace it right back to the moment when I found out that all of my friends had tried out for cheer for freshman year in high school and did not tell me. And I was the only one. So I think there's six. I think there were 6 of us, 5 of us. I can't remember. I think maybe 6, including me. And 2 of them had joined dance. The other 3 had joined cheer. They had tried out for cheer. And I knew none of that. None of that. And I felt so like betrayed, right? That 13-year-old Danie. And yet, right? Like I know this, right? But here I am, and I'm saying like, well, I'm not a good friend. I'm not good in relationships. Like that's a big struggle for me, right? And so I start to use it, right? Like I'm very aware that that is a pattern, that is something that I hold so very deeply. And yet I still, in relationships, in friendships, hold back. I don't share, right? I'm not honest in those relationships. I don't get too close in those relationships. Now, mind you, I am working on this and I am doing so much better. In fact, like I have to say, I'm very proud of myself because I would say probably in the past, probably 5 years or so, I have grown so much in this area because I have been working on it. But yet, here you go, just not too long ago, when she started talking about that, I was like, well, I just want to let you know, like, I'm not a good friend. And she was like, Danie, right? Thank goodness she's such a great coach and called me out of my own stuff, right? But that's it. Like, I am very aware of my pattern. I'm very aware, but yet I have not, like, just because I'm aware, just because I know where it's traced back to, just because I've even, like, I know this, right? I still am acting from that place like I'm not a good friend, and I still speak the words out. So let me say this clearly. Self-awareness tells you what is happening and why. You get the what and the why in self-awareness. It gives you the language for your experience. It gives you history, right? The context for why you respond the way you do, why I hold back in relationships, right? And it allows me to be able to witness myself. It allows me to be able to be like, wow, Danie, like, dang, okay, like that's such a struggle for you. This is a challenge for you, right? That is super powerful. Knowing this, witnessing this in myself is not the same as transforming, though. Just because I'm aware that this is a pattern, again, does not mean that I have changed my behavior. And I think this is where, like, because I see it, a lot of people get stuck and they don't even know it because we have been taught, and no shame to any of these, right? Therapy, coaching, right? Every personal development container that you have probably been in or that even exists, many of them talk about the insights and getting that awareness and how that's leading to change. And my friend, I'm here to tell you, because I need you to know this, that is not change. That does not create change. The insight does not lead to change. If you understand something so deeply enough, the change will follow. No. Sometimes, yes. I will give you that. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes insight is exactly the thing that unlocks the door. Click. There we go. Majority of the time, and I would say probably all the time, your body is involved. And what happens is the nervous system, right, your automatic responses, they fire before your conscious mind. So insight alone doesn't reach them. You can have all the self-awareness of a pattern and call it out directly and still be running it. It's so interesting. I was on a call just the other day. I've actually been on two calls where this has happened. Two different coaches. One was a social media coach, and one is more of a spiritual psychology coach. And one of them, actually both of them, they were in their apartments, right, in their office of somewhere. They both live in like condos, like kind of like high-rise condos, and the fire alarm was going off. And the whole time that they're doing, the first one was a webinar. The social media girl was a webinar I was watching, and the other one was, she was teaching a class, and the fire alarm's going off, and both of them were like, can you hear that? Can you hear the fire alarm? And all of us, right? All of us on Zoom were like, nope. Like, your mics are great, right? We can't hear. Zoom's so good these days. You can't hear the background noise. And yet, what's interesting is she's hearing the fire alarm, right? She's hearing the fire alarm going off, and her body, right, is starting to react to that sound, right? We've all been conditioned to that sound. We hear the fire alarm go off, and it's like, right? Like immediately, like you like, I just did it, right? Like that breath, right? And then like the tightness in the chest, the uneasiness in the belly, the heart starts racing. You might get tingles all over your body, right? Like your body starts automatically responding to that sound. It's like Pavlov, right? Do you remember the research done with Pavlov, the dog, right? With you ring the bell, the dog salivates, right? It's a really great study on conditioning. I learned it in college when I was studying psychology, and it's true. Like, we hear that bell, and automatically our body starts doing something. And even though like she knew she was safe because something was just going on with the alarm and it had been going off all morning, she knew she was safe, right? Mentally, consciously, she knew she was safe, but her body was reacting to that sound, and you could see it. I thought, so, like, I was just sending her so much love and so much light, like, it's all good. And she did such a good job in being a professional and maintaining, and doing the class, more breakouts probably than she probably really wanted us to do, but she needed to, right, like, help herself in her own body because it was automatic. Our patterns work the same way. The pattern isn't living in your understanding of it, and that's why just understanding it as complete as you do hasn't been enough to stop it. So I want to go a layer deeper here because I like to do that. Most healing work, like your most of your modalities, let's just say that most of your modalities that works at the belief level, right? Most healing work, you are going to come into the place of, so you're going to get the belief, right? The belief that says, I'm not safe, I have to earn my place, I don't want to be too much, or people aren't going to love me, right? I don't want to, I can't show up as my full self, right? My needs might be too much for people. So these beliefs are real. They're absolutely real. They are your truth. They shape everything. The way that you're leading, the way that you're loving, the way that you price your work, the way that you speak up or don't speak up. And a good therapist, a good coach is going to help you identify that belief. They're going to help you challenge it, right? And they're going to work towards helping you replace it with something that is more beneficial for you. And this is 100% like valuable. And this helps you move forward. The belief is not the beginning of the story. Underneath every belief is something that happened earlier. And this is a decision. Not a decision that was necessarily made consciously, although that can happen as well. Most of the time, these decisions are made in the body, in the nervous system. Some part of you, right, in response to a specific experience, so a traumatic experience, and remember, trauma doesn't happen to us, right? Trauma is what happens inside of us, which is the things that we decide about ourselves, about others, and about the world. We make these decisions, and these decisions become true. What is safe? What we need to do in order to survive a situation that we're in. And that decision happened automatically in the body, just like that fire alarm that this teacher, right, was hearing in the background as she was trying to teach us. Body automatically went into that place. It's the nervous system, the part of you that is doing the best that it can with what it has. And from that decision, right, everything operates from that decision, meaning now the belief. The belief comes. You made a decision that, when I had the situation with the 13-year-old Danie, the first one where I was on the school bus, and I had that decision, I made the decision, right, in that moment that I could not be myself. Like, people didn't like what I liked. And so I couldn't be myself. Like, I made the decision that I am not cool, quote unquote, right? Like, we're talking about 13-year-old Danie here. So I'm not cool, right? I made that decision. Now, if I look at it from the 47-year-old Danie, yeah, much different, decision there. But at 13-year-olds, like, I'm not cool. So if I'm not cool, that means like I can't be myself, right? The decision I actually made was I can't be myself. Being myself is going to create, people aren't going to like me. People are going to reject me. So from that place, right, from that decision, I created the belief that I cannot be myself, that I have to be somebody else, that I have to be who other people want me to be, right? And this comes off of, if we go even further, 9-year-old Danie, who I talked about in a previous episode, who made the decision that if she's not perfect, she doesn't receive love, right? These decisions became my operating system. Now, all these beliefs, now everything that I'm running, right, as I'm seeing these, as I'm encountering these experiences, I'm like, oh, well, I can't, okay, people didn't like that. I can't do that, right? Or what do people like and how do I do that, right? That became my operating system to survive. That's what the 13-year-old Danie believed, right? The belief. Now, here, this is the gap here. The belief doesn't stand a chance because the work that we are doing, right, with our therapists, with our coaches, it is not going deep enough. The gap is between the self-awareness and the healing. Awareness is going to reach that belief, but healing requires you to get to the decision. And now that we got to the decision, shifting the energy around the situation. So let me tell you about a client of mine. She came to me because she was having some difficulty with her stepmom. Now, her stepmom, and she was really like, I know it's like my inner child. She also was very aware that like she had this pattern, right? Because when she was younger, she's the oldest of three, and her father her father decided to have a relationship with her mom's cousin, and basically, kicked mom to the curb and moved the cousin in and just basically like, this is your mom now, right? And my client, oh man, a whole lot of decisions that she made, right? A whole lot of understandings. And the stepmom, not really fully understanding, how to handle this, right? She was not very nice to my client. And there were a lot of things that she did and she would tell her that made my client believe that she was not worthy. And so like little things like, not giving her money to go get an ice cream, right? Where she gave her younger brother and sister money, but not her, right? Like little things like that, right? And those little things, she made some really big decisions about herself and about the world based on that experience. And so here she was, her stepmom was in a coma. And she was having a really hard time because the stepmom was, probably going to pass. And here she was taking care of her like stepsister and stepbrother, the kids that her dad and her stepmom had, because they're little, and she's having to take care of them. And she's like struggling, right? Because of this relationship that she had with her mom. And I'll tell you this, is like, this wasn't the first thing that she originally came to me for. She originally came to me because she was feeling unmotivated. And we did like a session, and then she came back and was like, Danie, I think there's more. And I was like, absolutely. And so we started working, and we came to this, and this was like something that she needed to work on. And so what we did was we went back, we did some inner child healing, right? And we went back and helped her shift the energy around, well, first figured out what the decisions were, right? What were the decisions that she made? What were the beliefs that she now had around this, right? And then we shifted the energy. Now this is where the healing actually happens. We get the decision and we learn, right? We've learned what this decision is, and we shifted the energy around that experience so that it no longer stings. My friend, that right there, that is the healing portion. If you know what your pattern is, if you can go back to that place, but when you think of it, it still hurts, it still stings, your body is still reacting like you are that 5-year-old little girl, my friend, you have not done the full healing. That healing portion right there where you shift the energy, that, my friend, that is actually healing it. Not just knowing it, but actually shifting the behavior. So once we shifted that behavior, once we shifted that energy around that situation, she felt much better. We sent her, she told her stepmom, like she was able to go see her stepmom in the hospital and like tell her some things. And she was able to have a different energy with her stepbrother and sister. And this was something that we didn't even talk about in our session, but came up later on from this experience, right? So she's super happy, right? She was able to resolve this stuff with her mom. Her stepmom, she cleared everything out, right? We healed that relationship. And then she was able to now have like and feel really good about helping and supporting the two younger siblings, right? And something we didn't even we weren't even expecting here was she now felt ready and open to having children. I think in the back of her head, she probably had always been like, yeah, I want children, but she was terrified because she was afraid of what she would do to her children, right? Knowing the experience that she had as a child, and she didn't want to do that. She was so afraid, but because we shifted that energy around it, actually healing it, my friend, she now has two children of her own, and I think last I heard is pregnant with a third. Like, she shifted her entire energy. So she is now in a loving relationship, and she now has children, which she is not scared of anymore. She's not scared of having them. She's not scared of raising them. And she's doing, her best, knowing what she knows to raise these children. My friend, the first thing that changes is this. You stop managing the pattern, right? So if you've been doing a lot of self-awareness work, you know this, right? You catch yourself mid-reaction, right? You talk yourself off the ledge, you're reframing that loop, right? And it works. And it can be exhausting, I will say that, but it works, right? It is the experience of someone who is working against their own wiring constantly with like that discipline, right? When we're wiring, when the wiring shifts within us, right? The pattern doesn't fire the same way, right? It does change, and you can catch yourself less and less, right? The other thing that changes here is changes that you weren't expecting start to show up. And this is what surprises most people, right? Like, she had no idea that her relationship with having her own children was a problem, right? And she came to me like later, probably about a year after that, and was like, Danie, I've realized that, we've shifted a lot, and I feel like I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to call in my person. I'm ready. Like, she's ready to do all the things. I just want to make sure there's nothing else there, right? And so we actually did a healing around inviting in her future children, right? And that was like, it was so beautiful, so magical. She got to meet her future children. It was a beautiful experience. And then here she is, right? But that wouldn't have come out, right? And I want you to remember, her original reason for coming to me was lack of motivation. When we shift at the root, and we shift, right, the relationships that we're in, those get unstuck. The patterns in the way in which we're leading our life get unstuck. Our ceiling revenue gets unstuck. The way that we speak up for ourselves gets unstuck. And not because we talked about those things, but because they were all connected, right, to this belief, to this decision that was made. That is what healing does, that awareness alone cannot do. So, my friend, I want to ask you something before we bring this episode to a close. And I invite you to sit with this, right? Don't answer it really quickly. Maybe sit in a meditation or journal about this. And it's not, do I understand my patterns? Yes, you already know your patterns, my friend. You know them well. The question I want you to ask yourself is, are they still running me? Are my patterns still running me? In the moments that actually count, right? In the room where you actually want to show up fully and completely. In the relationship where you keep having the same dynamic over and over. In the decision where you keep choosing the smaller version of yourself. Is the old thing still in charge? And if the answer is yes, even partially, even if it's, well, sometimes, my friend, that is information. That is information that there is still healing that needs to happen. Awareness has taken you as far as awareness can take you. And there's something deeper that is available, right? I want you to know that layer is absolutely reachable. The women who come to me have often tried all the things. They're not new to this. They're not lacking in their commitment or their intelligence or their self-awareness. I work with all of my clients are self-aware. They are simply operating with a map that has a missing piece. And my friend, this right here, getting to the decision and shifting the energy so that it no longer stings, that, my friend, is the piece. My friend, thank you so much for being here today. The fact that you are still asking these questions, still looking to look at the frame, right, rather than just work harder within it, that is beautiful, my friend, and that is extraordinary. That kind of honesty is exactly what the inner work, this soul level work requires. And if today's episode landed somewhere specific for you, if you heard yourself in it, I want you to know that there is a next step that is very simple. I do have my inner authority call. This is a 30-minute conversation. You and I hop on Zoom and we get curious about what that decision is. We get curious about what is going on. And my friend, I want you to understand that this right here, doing this piece of getting to that decision, so not just the root, right, of like, it is the root, it's part of the root. Many people just focus on that belief, but it's that actual decision that you made about yourself, others, and the world at large, and shift the energy around it. My friend, I am so blessed and honored that we got to spend this time together. Remember, new episodes come out every Friday, and we also have the YouTube channel that also has great stuff on there as well. You'll see links in the show notes for that. And you know what? If someone came to mind while you're listening to this, like, she needs to hear this, my friend, send it her way. So much love and light to you. I'll see you next week or in the next episode. And until then, my friend, remember to keep shining your unique light.